All right, NFL fans, welcome back to another episode of For Your Viewing Pleasure. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by Wesley Coleman as you get ready for the wild card weekend's done. Divisional round. Man, did Black Monday get extended? What's going on?
And Zach Taylor still has a job.
The only AFC North coach who still has a job.
What is going on?
Holy crap, man. I mean, I've done a lot of shows today, and obviously we're recording this on Tuesday for Wednesday morning. I want to get your take. You're an outsider. Obviously, the Mike Tomlin thing is close to me as a Steeler fan and someone who covers the team. What's your takeaway on all this from an outsider's perspective?
Yeah, so what's funny is when the Steelers lost the other day, I was in a text message group. We talk about mostly the Saints, but NFL and everything in sports. And somebody said, I wonder with this loss, would the Steelers think about firing Mike Tomlin? And my response to the group was they would not fire him, but it won't surprise me if he quits. And they were just like, what? And then today, I got the pat on the back today. This doesn't surprise me. I think he has the choice of basically any job he wants outside of I'm just spitballing. I think the Giants want Harbaugh. I think outside of that, Mike Tomlin can do any of the top jobs besides maybe the Ravens job. And I think
or Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's going to bring him in for an interview.
I think if he called the Ravens, they'd take the meeting. That would be hilarious. My big question mark. One, I don't like the opening for a couple of reasons. One, you're following Mike Tomlin, who's won every single season that he's been a head coach. And for me, you'll disagree. You cover the Steelers. Your first losing season gets covered not only by Steelers media and Steelers fans, but everybody. Because the story of how many seasons that Mike Tomlin has not lost is covered by everybody.
Yeah.
So you're going to get buried the first time you have a losing season.
That's going to be really interesting.
That's not the only thing, but that's the first thing.
Okay. That's going to be a big part of this. Fans that sit here and say, I'm fine with a losing season. We need to rebuild. We need to do it the right way. They don't remember what the last losing season was like. They don't remember. It was 2003.
The last time 3 in a row losing seasons.
Yeah. So the last time they lost more games than they won was in 2003. They were 6-10. And that year, which was quarterbacked by Tommy Maddox, gave them Ben Roethlisberger in 2004. So even that lull was very short-lived. But I'm going to be very anxious to see what the perception is. I know the national media is going to say, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted, all you fans. But I'm wondering what the fans are going to actually tolerate. The expectation is high. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But I do think, and we talked about this when we went on the air, I do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization will be patient. The fans might not be, but I think the ownership, that is one of the more patient ownership groups that are out there.
Yeah, and just kind of wrapping up my thoughts real quick on the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is gone. I have no idea if Will Howard is an NFL quarterback. There's signs that maybe he is. No idea, though.
No one does. Why was he didn't play he didn't play in the preseason. No one knows.
Yeah, no idea. I think that there was a lot of debate a year ago of whether or not TJ Watt was young enough to get the contract that he got. He got it. He got injured. I don't know if he's going to come back next year healthy and be great. I don't know if he old now. I think DK Metcalf is overpaid. I think that maybe I'm not a George Pickens fan, but I don't know if the Steelers really made an upgrade there besides the upgrade of how expensive he was. And I am not impressed with, I like Gainwell and Warren a lot, but I'm not impressed with how the Steelers use them. Maybe a new offensive coordinator comes in and uses them correctly. I think they were underutilized this year. I think they should have been the focus of the offense even more rather than like, oops, they made a big play. I think there needs to be more of a focus on that. Maybe you can fix that, but without a quarterback and a receiver that I believe in, it's kind of it's questionable.
You hit the nail on the head. And what makes this job not attractive is that they have no quarterback. Like in the NFL, we know this. You know this. I know this. We talk about it every year. You have a quarterback or you have nothing.
Right.
You have nothing. And so the Steelers are like, well, like, what are we going to do next year? This crop of quarterbacks has gone from great to sucks coming into the draft.
There's two of them.
Exactly. So You have a really crappy quarterback class, and everyone's saying, well, 2027. No, I don't buy in that either. I just don't anymore. But NIL money, why would they want to leave if they're making crap tons of money in college? But also, I also think the quarterback play is definitely like watered itself down to the point that you're not going to get those guaranteed, I'm going to come in and be fine early on in the NFL because they just don't prepare the quarterbacks the same way. But they have no quarterback. Is it Aaron Rodgers at 42, going to be 43? No, that's not it. Mason Rudolph? No. Are they going to go out and overpay for Malik Willis? That guy has Matt Flynn written all over him, by the way. So it's not good from a quarterback perspective. I do like some of the young nucleus that they have, like the young offensive linemen they have. I think they have something to build around. But again, you ain't got no quarterback.
It's tough. When I'm ranking the head coaching jobs, like I'm ranking over who the quarterback is, who the potential quarterback is, what that looks like, for sure. And the Steelers is a huge question mark.
Oh, so was number one Baltimore?
No, I'm not. I ain't about that life.
Oh, so who's your number one opening?
It's gonna shock you.
Okay,
you're letting me pair Fernando Mendoza and Ashton Genty, and I'm an offensive-minded quarterback, and I've got an offensive-minded coach, and I've got Tom Brady giving Mark Davis advice instead of letting Mark Davis the whole thing up, and I get to hang out in Vegas. I'm taking Mendoza and Genty, and I'm building an offense.
Who's going to be the coach out there, you think?
I don't know. It's
because Brady was there for the Pete Carroll hire.
Yeah, well, a little bit late. He was distracted with researching his Fox analyst job. I don't know. I don't know. It's got to be an offensive guy though.
Okay. All right. Let's transition away from the coaching search and we'll keep you guys updated on that. But let's talk about the wild card weekend, which, man, Saturday and I would say 2/3 of Sunday were awesome. I mean, some of the best playoff games that I can remember, competitive, coming down to the last second. You know me, I said this to you via text message. I root for chaos. I was rooting for the Panthers to beat the Rams. You're the guy that says, I want the best matchups.
Yep.
All right, well, hey, that's fine. We're going to get some good matchups either way, but let's talk about Wild Card Weekend real quick. What was your takeaway?
Great games. The first 3-4 games were just amazing and so much fun. People crapping on that 3:30 Saturday game, and they got fun football. Saturday just started off amazing. I loved it. I loved watching the everything kind of break down. Obviously, once we got to Sunday night, it kind of But those first 4 games, 4 games were decided by a combined 14 points.
What was the biggest surprise for you at a Wild Card Weekend? It could be good, bad, and different. What was it?
I would say probably the Chargers' inability. The fact that they just wouldn't run the ball. I get it. Marion Hampton, that was a kind of a fake. Was he going to be okay? He had 1 rush for -1 yards, but then they turned around and besides Marion Hampton, they only had 1 other running back who ran the ball, and it was Kamani Vidal, 11 carries for 31 yards. That's the only 2 running backs that ran the ball for them. Justin Herbert ran the ball 10 times for 57 yards. And I get it. He's getting crapped on. That offensive line was decimated. I don't know if he's good or bad. But I can't judge him off of just this game.
How surprised were you that Philadelphia lost that game at home to San Francisco? And that game, I've watched it, and it was just something was off. We've said that the Eagles have felt off for a while now, but were you surprised by that?
Oh no. I mean, I was surprised that they didn't even lean heavier into Saquon Barkley, I guess.
I think he's hurt. I think he was hurt.
Yeah. I mean, and he still had a 4 yards a carry, 26 carries for 106 yards. But Jalen Hurts was not good. I mean,
I was surprised their defense, man. That was a surprise for me. They lose George Kittle to a ruptured Achilles tendon. You're like, oh, you just got to stop Christian McCaffrey. Nope, can't do that. Oh, Jawan Jennings and some other no-name guys that they have just running wide open over the middle of the field.
To be fair, they stopped Christian McCaffrey against the run. I mean, he averaged 3.2 yards a carry on 15 carries, but Demarcus Robinson went absolutely off, and then Christian McCaffrey and even Juszczyk. I don't know. Jawan Jennings has more playoff touchdown passes than Derek Carr in his career.
All right, let's go to the divisional round as we get you ready for the upcoming slate of games. You say you want matchups. Did you get what you wanted? Just overall,
Hold on.
are you
One quick thing about the last one.
Nah, but we can't. We're out of time.
Can that Houston Texans defense win a Super Bowl?
Well, let's be honest.
We talk about defense.
If CJ Stroud doesn't literally try to throw the game away, that game isn't even close. And it wasn't close, but it was late when they ran away with it.
Right. But that defense is
legit.
Find a weak spot. They're mean.
They're legit.
And listen, I think we nailed it with talked about the Steelers are going to throw those short passes, and they did, and they committed to it, but they just couldn't. Nobody got to ever get a corner or break it. They start off that first play was a little short pass, and they're hoping that we were going to race people to the edge, and you weren't beating anybody.
Now, Petrie was coming down, looking to bring the pain, bring the hurt.
We haven't seen a defense like that in a long time.
No, because they don't. It's like I was saying on our Steelers podcast, they don't have to blitz.
No,
they just rush 3 and 4 and they get pressure. That Donnell Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. are freaks, man. Like they are dudes out there. And so you better.
We couldn't go away. I'm not talking about that defense. Sorry.
No, but we ran out of time, so we can't spend too much time on that game.
Divisional round.
Yeah, here we go. So let's just first and foremost, like you said, I root for chaos. You root for matchups. Are you happy just from an overarching scale of these 4 games on Saturday and Sunday?
I am. It's a lot of fun. I like the way all of it matched up, and I get it. People can be mad about the NFC West having 3 teams in it and 2 of them playing each other for the third time. That was the best division of football this year, and any of those 3 teams could have been the number 1 seed. It's the way it should be, and I think it's also pretty cool that you've got 3 of the quarterbacks taken in the first round last year in the divisional round of the playoffs, with Nix, May, and Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels is injured all year, and Dan Quinn's awful, so he didn't make it. But the other 3 being there is it's a lot of fun.
Out of these 3 that you just brought up, if you were starting a team and you had to pick one, who would be your quarterback?
I mean, everybody's gonna say Drake May right now, but do I get Ben Johnson?
No, that's because Caleb Williams is a different guy.
I like Caleb Williams, but he needed Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson also needed him. I think the 2 of them pair perfectly. Like, I'm not giving Ben Johnson credit for Caleb Williams. They belong together. That's a match. And I talked about that in the offseason. Like, I thought that was the dude. Caleb Williams still got things to clean up, but it's so good. You've got to say Drake May. I mean, I think you've just got to keep saying that, but I Caleb Williams has been the number 1 quarterback from that class for a really long time, and he won a big playoff game last week.
I think people are sleeping on Bo Nix, man. I really, honest to God, I think people are sleeping on Bo Nix, and I would not be shocked. Let's go into our previewing these games. Denver is spotting 1.5 to the Buffalo Bills, and it's
not even getting the 3-point home field.
No. The total is 46.5. This is a 4:30 p.m. Eastern time kickoff on CBS on Saturday. I don't know what it is, man, but I am taking the Broncos. I think they win this game. Josh Allen is going to look back in 2025 and say, that was the year that I didn't have to go through Mahomes. I didn't have to tend with Burrow, that Lamar Jackson wasn't involved, and I didn't get it done. It's just a hunch. Don't look at not stats. It's just a gut reaction. That's my take. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think that last week, out of the 6 football games we had, Josh Allen was the best player that played any of those 6 games.
For sure.
And I think that he just did amazing. And I think he's going to win this game. I think he's going to go take down the number 1 seed. And by the way, even if coming out of the other game, the Bills will not play a home game this playoffs. Right. They would have to go on the road to either New England or Houston. On top of this, I think in that Josh Allen's going to thrive in that. What he did last week, not even throwing in the beating that he took and how he kept coming back. The dude almost got his ear ripped off. He got his knee hyperextended, rushed for 2 touchdowns, threw another one. But it was 28 for 35. He's the best player that played last week in the playoffs, and I think he'll lead them over the Broncos.
All right. Hey, that's fine. We disagree. It's going to be a good game either way. That's a good way to kick it off on Saturday. Then we go to the Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern time game. This is on Fox. And this is that NFC West matchup you talked about. Number 1 seed, the Seattle Seahawks hosting the 49ers. Mentioned the 49ers are going to be without George Kittle, who is obviously healing his ruptured Achilles tendon or have surgery on it soon.
Fred Warner will not play in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to return until probably the Super Bowl. Wouldn't do you think that's fair? I mean, I know he's.
There was just the conversation about because
Yeah.
he was running last week on a field.
Yeah, I saw that video, but it's different when you're running and if you're playing football. But
Agreed.
this is a game that Seattle is spotting 7.5 points.
That's a lot of points.
Dude, that is a ton of points. Like, I'm honest to God, I looked at this and said 7.5. Is that a typo? No, it's not. Total 44.5. I don't know. That's a pretty disrespectful line. What do you think?
So it is. Now, having said these two teams played each other in week 1 and in week 18. Week 1 in Seattle, the 49ers won 17-13. A couple of weeks ago in week 18, Seahawks in San Francisco won 13-3 in a game the 49ers needed and wanted and desperately were interested in winning. 49ers with a really tough game in Philly, flying across the country, losing George Kittle, and now coming all the way across the country to Seattle a week later while Seattle's been on a break. The 7.5 points seems like a lot. I did in my pick'ems this week take Seattle to cover, though.
Really?
I did.
So you don't believe in the rest equals rust for a number 1 seed?
No, not in this instance, because I think that if this is the healthiest, you're going to find Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. And if the Seahawks are smart enough to run the hell out of the two of them, they're going to beat the crap out of that 49ers line and linebackers. I think it might be a close game for 2.5 quarters, but those two guys are going to wear their ass out.
They should. If they, like you said, if they are smart.
Now, if this becomes Sam Darnold versus Brock Purdy, who the hell knows what happens?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to say I like the Seahawks to win, but I'm taking the 49ers getting 7.5. This is a divisional game, man. The third time you play, there's not a lot of secrets. And so a lot of time these games are really close. I'll take the Niners getting 7.5.
I love the Kubiak versus Shanahan. Kubiak came from the Shanahan system. He was with San Francisco a couple of years ago before he was with the Saints last year. So the offensive coordinator and head coach battling it out is pretty cool.
All right, let's go to Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. The Texans, we talked about that defense. They are fast, they are ferocious. Going up against New England, they put on a pretty good defensive performance themselves. Boy, they beat the crap out of Justin Herbert last week. Yeah, this is in Foxborough, New England. New England is spotting 3 with a total of 40.5. What's your take?
I'm taking the upset. Not only the points. I'm taking the Texans to win. Give me that Texans money line. This defense is insane. This is a rookie quarterback who did not look good last week. No. They win 16-3. The Patriots did not look good. Justin Herbert had no starting offensive line in front of him. Had no starting running back. Keenan Allen looked 100 years old. I mean, it was an awful opponent, and they only win 16-3 at home. This Houston defense, if they play anywhere close to like they played last week, the Houston defense is going to shut them out. Like, this will be again, we talked about this defense. I think we talked about for a month, this defense is going to travel. This weather is going to be perfect. I think it's 18 degrees at kickoff.
Yikes. So that adds into
35. My bad. I was way wrong.
That's still cold. So let me ask you this, though. Were you surprised at the total of 40.5? I thought for sure the total would have been 38, 37, but 40.5, I'm taking the under all day and all night. Because like you said, they might shut out the Patriots, but the Texans aren't scoring a ton of points. It took 2 defensive touchdowns for them to get the 30 points against Pittsburgh. But I do think this offense has more weapons than people give them credit for. Woody Marks might not be a household name. The dude runs the ball hard. Nico Collins in the concussion protocol. I doubt he clears that, but they're gonna need him because, well, Christian Kirk, he did everything he was supposed to against Pittsburgh. You don't see this being an over, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So you're taking the Texans. I'm taking the Texans. I watched that defense enough last Monday. I've seen enough.
And in your nightmares since then.
I've seen enough to know I've seen too much. We'll put it that way. So, all right, let's go to the nightcap, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on NBC. This might be one of the most entertaining game, I think.
This is the game where it's 18 degrees.
Okay, 18 degrees in Chicago. The LA Rams, Chicago Bears. I think this could be fireworks. It could be a lot of fun. Man, the Rams though have to come from behind against Carolina in the wild card round. I don't know. Do you feel confident in Matthew Stafford and company?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's he'll be good here. Nakua just was crazy physical. I don't know how long he can keep that up with his career. It's been a long time since I've seen a offensive wide receiver who is that physical going after the defenders with the ball. Michael Thomas with the Saints did it for a few years. Didn't last that long. You're talking about what Andre Johnson or even like Megatron back in the day. There's very few wide receivers. Do what?
Hines Ward in Pittsburgh definitely did.
I mean, Hines Ward was physical, but wasn't as big. And just saying, but Nakua does it and is huge.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know if he can keep it up, but I think he keeps it up for this playoffs. And Devontae Adams is healthy, and those two together with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, and then they got tight ends catching the ball. Like I don't know. It's 18 degrees might be the best chance that the Chicago Bears have of stopping them, but I'm not sure if it has to turn into a running game. Does that favor the Bears?
I don't know. I mean, the total is 48.5. That seems high. The Rams are giving 3.5 on the road. So the Bears are home dogs, nothing they're not used to. I'm thinking the under there. I'm thinking the under in this game. I don't know why. I just don't see this being a high scoring affair. The weather you mentioned. What's your take on that and the outcome?
I think that you're going to feel really good about taking the under with like 16 minutes left in the game. And then I think you're just going to get blown out of the water. I think this is one of those going to take everybody a little time to adjust to the weather, figure out what they can and can't get away with. And this is one of those, like the fourth quarter or last 20 minutes, we see like the scores triple.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. So, okay, I like the Rams. You like the Rams as well?
I do.
All right. So that would mean that we would have Seattle Rams in the NFC Championship.
Oh, give it to me. That Thursday night game was amazing. I want to repeat in the playoffs.
And then it could be either, we both have the Texans, but it could be either Bills Texans or Broncos Texans in the AFC Championship game.
Bills Texans played each other a few weeks ago. I guess a month and a half ago or so, and Texans won in Houston. Texans won, I think it was 23-19.
Yeah. I think it's a good matchup either way. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And also, well, just since we're bringing it up, the Texans played the Broncos in Texas and lost 18-15 middle of the season too, start of November. So they have.
Was that their last loss?
It was the Texans' last loss, yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, but that makes sense. Ooh, storylines, they write themselves.
Man, I really want that Rams Seahawks rematch in the playoffs. I think that sounds so much fun. And listen, I think Bears Seahawks would be a fun kind of interesting matchup too. I don't know.
Yeah,
the AFC side, I'm not really sold on like needing to see the Patriots play. I don't need. I want to hear pizza reviews from Dave Portnoy, not obnoxious Patriots tweets. And I want to watch that Texans defense play. That's just fun old school football.
Well, I'll say this. To me, the divisional round is always the last great week of football because it's the last week that you have games on Saturday and Sunday. You've got 4 total games after this. You're only down to 2, and then you're down to the Super Bowl. We don't count the Pro Bowl here. So it's coming to a close, man. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it to be over. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's really is wrapping up here. We're down to 8 teams, 4 games. This is going to be a fun weekend, though. I like all the matchups.
All right, this has been a great show, man. Why don't you tell us where we can find your Saints coverage?
Find me on X at @who.wesley13. You find the Dome Patrol podcast on X at Dome Patrol PCast. You can find Dome Patrol podcast on all of your streaming platforms. And Jeff, where can we find you in your search for a new Steelers coach? The fifth one in the last 60 years or 70 years, whatever it is.
This will be 4th, and since 1969.
There we go.
Yeah, coaching search, coaching. Man, maturity level through the roof for both of us. So no, Steel Curtain Network, steelcurtainnetwork.com. Find me on Twitter at jhartman, HERTMAN _PIT. All right, Wesley, man, enjoy the games this weekend, man. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, you too.